Hey sports fans, Coach Nick here and welcome to B-Ball Breakdown Special NCAA Tournament Edition. We went through the Duke versus Louisville game and it really centered on a few things, but basically Louisville's athletes were way too much for Duke's slow, plodding kind of play, and it's rare you get to see Duke get lit up like this, but we'll examine three important concepts that really doomed the Duke Blue Devils, and they probably wouldn't be able to beat the Louisville Cardinals, 7 out of 10 times. The first issue is with the Duke defense, specifically versus the pick and roll. As a team, the Cardinals shot 53% from the field, with the vast majority coming at point-blank range. Because of that penetration, they also got 10 offensive rebounds. The biggest defensive issue Duke had all day was defending the pick and roll. Louisville likes to screen the ball screener, negating Duke's ability to hedge. Plumlee is behind the play, sprinting to catch up, and Siva goes right by him. Kelly can do nothing to stop this dunk. When Louisville doesn't screen the ball screener, Duke can contain the pick and roll more easily and forces the Jang miss. Louisville tries to screen Plumlee again before the ball screen. Plumlee gets to the high hedge, but Thornton reaches in instead of moving his feet, giving up deep penetration, and they have to foul. Watch Plumlee fall asleep as Jang starts to screen. Siva has little resistance and gets into the lane again. Suleiman should follow Jang on the roll, but gets lost, and Jang gets the dunk attempt and foul. Again, Louisville screens the ball screener. He's a fraction late on the hedge, and Kevin Ware expertly splits the hedge for an and one. Defensively, Plumlee really hurt Duke. Watch how he doesn't step up, doesn't challenge, and Louisville gets a layup. Another pick and roll, and while Plumlee wants to prevent penetration, this is too much space when the pick is set. Plumlee seemed to step slow most of the game. Watch how he doesn't even attempt to go after the ball. Even when he tries to contain, that gives Siva a running start at another layup at the rim. Louisville picked on Plumlee all night, and he was never really effective. Watch how he doesn't rotate back to his man who had just hit the same shot a few seconds earlier. Louisville's defense switched often from man to zone, confusing the Blue Devils and harassing them into a lot of bad shots. As a result, Duke shot 37% from the field and only had 11 assists. Louisville pressured and confused Duke with their matchup zone. They start out in a 1-1-3 alignment. Each player plays man-to-man in his own zone, and you can see how it revolves like a carousel as Hancock moves from a forward to a guard. Duke doesn't attack the lane and burps up a bad shot. This looks a bit like a 2-3 zone, but watch how Hancock follows the ball screener to the strong side. This is great stuff, but Duke is able to attack and get free throws. This time, they start in 2-3 zone. But once Duke makes the second pass, it shifts to a man-to-man. Very impressive execution by the defense. However, Duke gets a switch and gets one of the only good plays from Quinn Cook all day. A basic 2-3 zone here with better movement by Duke. Watch Plumlee stay in the lane for 6 seconds, but it doesn't matter. Once it goes in the corner, Louisville almost always traps and forces the turnover here. And finally, the Cardinals' full-court press caused a lot of problems for the Blue Devils. While they didn't end up with a high number of turnovers, Duke was on the verge of turning the ball over on the majority of their possessions, ultimately wilting under the barrage. Louisville has a variety of presses. This is a run and jump, where the middle defender waits for the ball handler to either start dribbling fast or turn his back before doubling the ball. This leads to a 10-second violation turnover. This time, they don't jump the ball because Cook doesn't get going very fast, although he carries the ball there. They move back into a stretch 2-3 zone, but again, trap the corner and should have gotten this steal. Louisville will also deny the inbounds pass on their press for ultimate pressure. And they can press off a missed free throw 3/4 court in a 1-2-2 setup. Plumlee travels but no call, but gets going way too fast for his comfort level and misses the contested layup. Louisville lives for these kind of shots and scores on the other end in a crazy fast 4 seconds. Again, when the ball handler turns his back on a spin move, they jump it. This time, Cook just about travels at midcourt, but throws it away. Duke has no cutters to the middle to help him. Here's an example of the press jumping the ball handler too early before he gets going too fast or turning his back. Cook can see the floor and make an easy pass up the court. Help one pass away gives Curry a sliver of daylight to make a tough shot. This time, they do a decent job of jumping the ball, but I think the rotation should come from the weak side, not Siva. If they get the ball to slow-footed Kelly, I think Louisville is fast enough to chase him down. This way, once Siva gets beat by Cook, there's no one in the corner to stop the Curry three-pointer. And here's the beginning of the end. Tie game, Curry forces a three, maybe gets fouled, but Louisville is a blur in transition for the and one. Here's a double ball screen for Siva. Cook does a good job forcing him away from the screen, however it leaves the molasses-slow Ryan Kelly by himself to contain Siva. Once he's in the lane, there's nothing Plumlee can do. Here's another screen and roll, and Kelly simply can't contain the ball handler, but doesn't bother to box anybody out either. So there you have it, sports fans. I thought this was a big out-coaching job by Rick Pitino over Coach K. The Duke guys never adjusted to the pick and roll defense. They could have tried to blast the ball handler or maybe bring a third defender over to get Plumlee out of the equation on the pick and roll because it was killing them. And also, I did like the way they tried to break Louisville's press with just the guards on their own and not enough cutting to the middle to receive passes. I thought that would relieve a lot of extra pressure and get them better shots in rhythm, and certainly for Curry, that would have probably gotten him a few more shots. Well, thanks for joining us. Lots more coming up as the NBA moves for the playoffs, and we'll try to get another breakdown of the Final Four up. And don't forget, at B-Ball Breakdown, we're not a channel, we're a conversation. You in?